Hey guys, James here, and welcome back to another prediction video for the next upcoming death battle. I'm moving my shit a little bit. Where it is Shadow versus Mewtwo, the rematch. And, I don't think the excitement is really there this time. And I'm not saying just for me, because if you saw my reaction to Kai versus Tahu that I had to re-record because my mic didn't work, I really wasn't excited for it, and I kind of explained my gripes with it. And I thought I would be the odd man out here, but now I'm seeing a lot of people just not really be as excited for it. And I kind of want to talk about that before I kind of just talk about, how I think the fight might go, or, the debate and all that shit. Because this is like the second time this happened this year, with this big popular matchup getting announced, and just people not really being excited for it. With the first time being Yuji versus Denji, where it's very obvious why the excitement wasn't there as much. And it's for two big notable reasons. The first is that was the 5th episode this year, and that was our 4th shonen episode that year. And not only that, we had Chainsaw Man, just the other episode was Bakugo Reze, a matchup already people were not excited for. So a lot of hype that should have been around for Yuji Denji just wasn't there because people were burnt out on Shonen already because of how much it got spammed at the start of the year. And we already had a Chainsaw Man rep just the other episode ago. So just the excitement wasn't there because of that, because people got tired of it. And with Shadow versus Mewtwo, not as many people are excited for it. And not saying no one is. I see a lot of people who are hyped about it, the people that were big fans of the matchup. But everyone else, I'm not really seeing a lot of excitement for the episode, and I think it's very easy to kind of guess why. The first one is just Sonic the Hedgehog fatigue. I mentioned it, but I'm personally tired of Sonic, and I know there's a good amount of other people that are getting tired of Sonic, because we're getting it pretty back to back to back. And, we had a gap between Season 9 and Season 10, or not, 9 and 10. Season 9 and in 2024, because Season 10 had no Sonic reps. And then it was Eggman coming back. And then, a lot of people were excited for that. I wasn't, because I don't like that matchup at all, but, that's besides the point. And then after that, we didn't get anything in 2025, people lump 4 and 5 together all the time. And then when the series comes back, it's with Metal Sonic this year. And obviously there's still plenty of people excited, a lot of people who likes, Cell versus Metal. But I was one of the ones who wasn't excited because we basically just had a Metal Sonic episode with Bowser versus Eggman, because we gotta be honest with ourselves, that was more of a Metal fight than it was an Eggman fight. And, there was still some excitement there, but, it wasn't as big as what it probably could have been. And that was also Metal Sonic's 4th episode. He's a returner after we just got a returner for Sonic and Eggman, because he's been on the show before. Record, his last episode of Season 1, so it wasn't as bad. But we got someone we just had in Episode 4. And then comes Shadow the Hedgehog, where this is also his 4th episode. In a year, we already got a Sonic episode using a character that's been on the show 3 times prior, just like Shadow. And doesn't help that a lot of abilities are kind of, just relapsing from before. The Chaos Control type shit. The Chaos Emerald type shit. We are seeing Chaos stuff we've already seen dozens of times by this point. Because this is the 16th Sonic episode in the whole show. And also, the scaling is going to be exactly the same as the last 2 episodes. We're going to get basically the same scaling, especially since 2 of these are in the same year. The scaling will be the same. They might elaborate more on the, universal, multiversal shit, but that doesn't matter. It's going to be the same feats. It's stuff we've already seen. It's like Dragon Ball in, Season 9, or throughout, Season 7 to Season 10, where it's all the same stuff we heard over and over. It's the same key techniques. It's the same shockwave feat. It's just stuff we heard so many times that people just got tired of it and it got repetitive. And I feel like that's going to be the case here with Shadow coming up, where, yeah, a lot of the shit's just we've heard before. And it doesn't help, like, again, Shadow, 4th episode. In his last 3 episodes, his rundowns all feel pretty samey. Like, they all tend to mix together pretty well between, like, the same stuff being talked about. And there hasn't been that much between Shadow vs. Ryuko and Shadow vs. Mewtwo and Shadow getting new content. Yes, there is the Shadow Generations, but that only adds, like, so much to the picture here in stuff we've already talked about. Especially since, like, Shadow Ryoko's rundown, despite being, like, what, a 5-year gap at that point between Season 3 and Season 8, so much of that just felt rehashed. Just stuff we've already discussed so many times, where, like, I don't know, it's just a very boring rundown to me. And I feel like chances are there's a good shot of that happening with Shadow, where a lot of just ain't going to be interesting. And also, it does, again, this is the 4th Shadow episode, and this is something I talked more about in my reaction to it. The 4th Shadow episode, when the 3rd one really just felt like it was more so done to just kind of wrap up that Shadow trilogy. This is his 3rd episode, he lost the last 2, even though, versus Vegeta, at the time, he should have won. Vegeta versus Shadow now, it's probably more of a Vegeta win. But at the time that episode releasing, that definitely should have been more Shadow win, especially since they composited stuff at the time, because, you know, or Wild West of versus. We didn't really know what the hell we were doing. And then Shadow vs. Mewtwo, that should have been a Shadow episode, even by the episode's own logic, if I remember correctly. Or Shadow win, not Shadow episode, a Shadow win. So the 3rd one just felt like, yeah, we're just doing this to give the Shadow win, because Shadow just stomps Ryoko. And it sucks, because I'm a big fan of Ryoko and Kill la Kill. So seeing an episode that kind of felt more so just done to give the other guy a win for his 3rd episode, and the episode was kind of just okay at best anyways, it's a little disheartening. So I always wanted, like, I would not have mind a 4th Shadow episode in a vacuum, and under certain circumstances of we, at the bare minimum, get a Ryoko run back. Give her a proper episode before we give Shadow a 4th one. And also maybe give Mewtwo his own thing, you know, before rematching him with Shadow. Because I like Mewtwo vs. Shadow as a matchup. I think it's really good. It's my favorite ult for Mewtwo, and it kind of flip-flops with a bunch of other matchups for Shadow, for my favorite for him, because Shadow has a really good spread, surprisingly. So, like, in a vacuum, I wouldn't mind a rematch. I just rather the other 2 characters, like Ryoko and Mewtwo, got their own thing. And, like, Mewtwo had something else he could have come up with that a lot of people agreed, like, yeah, this is still really good. That being Blackboard Greymon. And also, yeah, 2nd time, Digimon just kind of got fucked out of getting a run back that it desperately needs. But the 1st time being Gogeta versus Vegito, an episode no one cares about. It was a matchup that no one cared about, that no one wanted. So, it's a little disappointing that, like, okay, yeah, no, we have a good shot at getting Digimon back. You know, a lot of people really want Digimon back. It's been almost a decade since we had Digimon on the show. Now, let's use a series that a lot of people are kind of getting burnt out of, and we already used this year. You can kind of see why, like, this, a lot of people, this is kind of lame of the next time. And, like, I don't know. I really wasn't a big fan of Blackboard Greymon vs. Mewtwo at first, but over time I warmed up a lot to it. And a lot of the reason I wasn't a fan of it was just because I didn't want Digimon's only episodes to be against Pokemon, but if it meant better shot of getting more Digimon on the show, fuck it, I'll take it. The matchup's still amazing. So, and it's kind of lame that, like, Sonic's a series that's, like, it's either the 3rd or 4th most used. I can't remember which has more between it and Dragon Ball. But it's, like, one of the most used series on the show. And, like, we could have gotten something that hasn't been on since 2017 on, with, you know, Blackboard Greymon getting Digimon back on. But no, we gotta have another Shadow episode when both Sonic and Pokemon, those communities fucking suck. Like, I'm speaking as a Pokemon fan. I hate the Pokemon community. I especially hate it in Versus. We'll talk more on that later, don't you worry. But I wanted to rant about that at first, because there's also, oh fuck, I forgot to mention this. So, we got, like, a series that we already had this year. A character was a 4th episode that honestly, there was characters I think should have came back before him. But then you also have the whole thing of the rematch and, just certain fans of the rematch. Because for those who remember or were around at that point, during the Kickstarter, one of the stretch goals was a rematch episode. And the rematch we got was Master Chief vs. Doomslayer, but the two big pushes at that time was Chief Slayer and Shad 2. And, here's the thing, Chief Slayer, people have been wanting that rematch for, roughly a decade? And, we finally got it. We had to fucking basically pay to make it happen. Very similar to Cole vs. Alex, mind you, where this has been such a long time request from fans. And it took us basically having to pay for it to get the episode. And, a lot of Chief Slayer fans were excited. We finally got the rematch we've been wanting for years. And then Shadow vs. Mewtwo fans who, mind you, a rematch for this has only been requested for, I think, not even a full year by the point of the Kickstarter and rematch poll. They were very petty about losing this. And, it soured the matchup for me. Again, I still like the match. It's still really good. But it definitely soured my view on it and really wanting it on the show. At least for the time being. So, and it doesn't help, the Chief Slayer waiting period was just awful on all fronts. Because it just felt like everyone had to discuss everything but Chief Slayer. And when it was Chief Slayer discussion, it was usually just being assholes to the fans who wanted it. Just saying, all of them only wanted it because they wanted Slayer to stomp Chief. They wanted that revenge. They want the revenge episode, when that just was not the case. And it just started this horrible misconception about Chief Slayer fans only wanting it for spite, when, no, obviously, yeah, there's going to be some bad apples that just want it for that, but, you could say the same thing about Shadow vs. Mewtwo. You could say the same thing for Link vs. Cloud. These all had fans that wanted it for spiteful reasons. Why are we, excluding Chief Slayer as, they're the only ones that want it for spiteful reasons? It's a dumb argument to be making, man. And it's just... And, also, again, we've been wanting this for years at that point. Shad 2 was only, maybe a year old, but them being so petty about losing and just, yeah, let's just ruin this for the guys that have been wanting it for so long. It just kind of sucks. And also, a lot of them were bitching, oh, we could have gotten a Pokemon episode. We don't get a lot of those. When, Halo and Doom, they have been used in, almost 15 years by that point. We knew we were getting a Pokemon episode at that point. We knew we were getting Sonic and Pokemon. Ash Yugi was already known by that point of, Shad 2 being on the rematch poll list. Why are we acting like we're drowning? We're starved for Pokemon. We know we're getting something, man. I want to rant about that, because, this is a big part on why my excitement is just not there for Shadow vs. Mewtwo. I love that we're getting more Pokemon episodes. Record, the last one was bad, but, whatever. I'm happy we're getting more Pokemon. It's just... It's hard to get excited when, the fans of it kind of made it hard to get excited for in the first place. But the timing for it is just really bad. It's just bad timing to do this episode. It doesn't help the team are, hyping up, yeah, everyone's gonna go apeshit for this. And then it was something with a franchise that's already overused. And, there's also the talk on... There was a bit of discussion on, the whole returner thing. Gumball Viking, he made, a post on Twitter. I do think a lot of it definitely, helps to kind of put into perspective on, why a lot of people aren't excited, and definitely does criticize the, use of certain franchises from Death Battle. And one of the points was, the overuse of returner characters. And I kind of half agree with it. I understand. I can understand people not being excited for returners. Because, as last year, most of what we got, I think, were returners. I think the better half of the episodes from 24 and 5 was returning characters. Either, only returning guys, or it has at least one in it. Or, one of the two, I guess. But this year, it felt like it hasn't been as bad. First two episodes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ichigo and Metal were both returners. Metal, mind you, literally just fucking had an episode at that point. So, kind of rough in that regard. But after that, it was just Aang. And we were still getting a new franchise in Genshin Impact in that episode. And, you know, we had, you know, a bunch of new stuff, or new characters at the bare minimum. So, like, the returning character aspect doesn't annoy me too much. If this was, like, last year, absolutely, I think it'd be a lot lamer. This year, though, I don't think it's too bad, though I also do kind of want to dial back in returners for a little bit. Record, there's a lot of matchups I do really want that use returners. My most wanted is a returner matchup, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, cut it back a little bit, man. That's it. This has been 15 minutes. I've not really talked about my predictions for the episodes themselves. I've just been kind of talking about my why I'm personally disappointed and why a lot of other people are kind of disappointed and not really excited. What are my own thoughts on this matchup? I think it's good. I said that earlier. Fuck. I think it's a good matchup. I honestly do. Like, record. My issue with it isn't the matchup itself. It's more so just like the timing and the fans of it kind of just not really helping me feel excited for it. Like, oh boy, we're finally getting this, and more so just like, oh, we're getting this. Yeesh. It's a good matchup. Yeah, timing and community. But there is a lot of potential here. Like, Shadow is like, I didn't really want a 4th Shadow episode. I found that to be really boring. But, like, I wouldn't mind it under specific circumstances. I'm just talking about Sherry's, so I'm sorry. Can you tell I'm not getting a lot of sleep? I mentioned the Kotaku video. It's been a rough fucking 2 weeks, man. But, for, like, the episode itself, what are some things I want? I want there to be a setup. Like, we had only one episode this year, I think, was, like, a proper setup. And that was the first episode this year. Everything else, it's either, like, okay, we get it through, like, context or conversation. Like, that's fair enough. I'd rather there be the setup, but whatever. It's fine. At least there is, like, context to it. Or it's Aang Traveler, where there is literally no fucking context. They just start fighting, and what the hell, man? How do you yeesh, boy? But with Shadow vs. Mewtwo, I think there's something... You could do a very simple thing that wouldn't take that much time to input into the story. And, like, it's just what fucking episode... Mewtwo vs. Shadow did. The first episode of Season 3 did, but, like... Shadow, or... fuck, I can't speak. Mewtwo, inspects Chaos Emerald. Shadow comes in, wants Emerald because, you know, Super and Sonic and, yeah, Chaos Emeralds. Fight starts there. It's that fucking simple. Please, God, have that in the setup. And, like, the fight itself, I want this to be good, because then it makes all this shit worth it. But, you know, the fight starts with, like, Chaos Spears, Mewtwo using Psychic to redirect them, or you like Aura Spear or Shadow Ball to fight from afar. A lot of fast-paced action to kind of help sell the speed of these two, especially for, like, a Sonic character. Shadow using Spin Dashes, Mewtwo countering with Barrier and Reflect before trying to, you know, fight with Psywave, other Psychic-type moves. I want the Giant Spoon. If there is no Spoon.png in this episode... It is worse than the original one. I don't make the rules. I will dock 5 points off from this episode if there is no Spoon.png. Watch it get like a negative. It gets a negative review because of that. That'd be fucking funny. But I need Spoon. I need the Spoon.png. That shit is too funny not to have. Well, you know, you got the Spoon shit. Where the fuck did I leave off? I had Spoon. Shadow kicks Giant Spoon away before using Chaos Control to stop time. Kicks Mewtwo and like making a giant crater. Bombards him with Chaos Spears into forcing Mewtwo to Mega Evolve into Mega Mewtwo Y. And like a lot of blitzing. Mewtwo blitzing Shadow now as Mega Mewtwo Y. And US moves like Cycle Cut and Swift. And before, like, trying to, like, control Shadow's mind. Like, he gets Shadow on the back burner and tries to do, like, a memory erase or something. Something similar to, you know, the original episode. But, you know, Shadow used power of the Chaos Emeralds to go super, shut down the attempted mind control, and then, you know, more fast-paced shit. I want a lot of fast-paced stuff in this fight. It's a Sonic episode. I want fast-paced stuff. it feels like a lot of Sonic episodes kind of fail to do a lot of fast-paced action these days. Maybe you have to rewatch some of them, but not a lot of them feel super fast. But where did I leave off? Yeah, mind control, fast-paced fights, rocketing through the skies. Shadow using like Spear of Light. Mewtwo weaving through attacks to use like Shadow Ball and shit. Fight like the fight leads up to space. And one of the animators for Death Battle, like a year ago, they did do a Shadow, like I think it was a couple second, maybe like 30-second, or maybe roughly a minute animation, 3D animation of Shadow vs. Mewtwo. So I am kind of pulling from there for a little bit because it's really good animation, and he's definitely going to be working on this. This is probably going to be a 3D episode with him on it, so... Or them. I don't know their gender, I shouldn't say. But, like, with them on it. But, yeah, fight leads up to space. Mewtwo creating, like, this massive Shadow Ball, throwing it at Shadow. Shadow originally was going to destroy the Shadow Ball in its super form, but the, time limit on Super Shadow runs up. This is also something we don't get in, like, any Sonic episode but Shadow versus, Vegeta. I didn't think about this when I was writing my loose what I want from the fight script. But I want the super form to kind of run out, and I think with Shadow you can do it because you've got other super forms after that can work. Or not really super forms, but other forms that I think could be cool to implement to the fight and not have it end on super. So I want super to run out time on it. And where'd I leave off? And, like, we get this cool shot of the Shadow Ball, massive fucking Shadow Ball, hurling its way towards Shadow. He contemplates, and, like, without super, he's probably, like, descending back to Earth. He contemplates, removing the, inhibitor rings. I can't speak. But instead of doing that, he taps into the Doom powers, because I believe... I'm running off a blog that I will link in the description below. A Mewtwo versus Shadow blog from, I think, February of 2025. I will be linking that, because I did pull from that for some versus stuff here and general ideas. Because it kind of covers a bunch of scaling and shit. And I figured, yeah, it's worth talking about this, and it's not the other blog, which might be a little... jab at it later, I don't know. But, originally gonna take the... From what I can understand, the Doom powers should be better than Super, I think. I don't know, don't quote me on that. I didn't play Generations. I want to play, the Generation, like, original and, Shadow, but I've not gotten to it yet. But, he draws out the Doom powers, gaining the Doom wings, and cutting through attacks. He cuts through the giant, Shadow Ball as, like, going through, like, Doom Morph. And then he surprises Mewtwo, getting up close, get a bit of a slow-motion shot before hitting him with the, was it Doom Burst? Is it called? Yeah, Doom Blast. Like, a kick to the face was Doom Blast. And, like, the power of it knocks Mewtwo out of his Mega Form. I know that's not exactly how it works. I just think it'd be really cool and does lead to a very cool transformation. Like, he's knocked out of the Mega Form. Mewtwo starts to lose consciousness before, like, we get a flash of the Shadow Synergy Stone on the screen. And then Mewtwo Shadow Mega evolves into the Shadow Mega Mewtwo X from Pokken. I was skeptical... My mouse fell. I was skeptical on using Pokken, but in the trailer, it does show some Pokken footage, so... Assuming it's being used in the fight is a natural assumption to make, even if I'm kind of skeptical on using that, because I haven't played, like, Pokken in years. I beat the original one on Wii U. I got Pokken Deluxe on Switch. I didn't finish it. I got really far into it, but I didn't finish it, because I kind of already knew what was going to happen anyways from playing the OG. And I haven't touched it since 2020, I want to say 2021 or 2022. It's been a while. But, anyways, but from what I remember, I think you need, like, a trainer to kind of use that. I don't know, I could be mistaken there, but it's been so long. But you get the Mega Mewtwo. You get Doom Shadow powers versus Shadow Mega Mewtwo X for the climax of the fight. Because with the original, it was Shadow or Super Shadow versus Mega Mewtwo Y, and since we got these new things since the episode coming out, I think it would be kind of cool to not have the climax be the same like forms as that, but these newer ones. I think that could be pretty cool for just like, you know, expanding more in the original episode, which a lot of people want this episode to do. But like, the fight isn't as fast-paced, but it's a lot more like impact hits. Or Shadow's the one moving faster now, but Mewtwo is keeping up a bit more in like physical stat or physical strength. You get shit like Drain Punch and Headbutt. It leads up to the, you know, the final clash of Mewtwo charging up the Dark Nova. Shadow tries to destroy it with Doom Spears, unable to, so he charges up a Doom amped Chaos Blast, I think it's called. Is it Chaos Blast? Yes, Chaos Blast. And like we get this cool shot of the two attacks kind of colliding with each other. And he also sneaking a Sayonara somewhere in there near the end. The other episodes end with the Sayonara. You gotta have the Sayonara in it. Anyways, the Dark Nova and the Shadow Blast collide. Whoever wins obviously outpower the other. If Shadow wins, he's able to like overthrow the power of the Dark Nova and the power of Chaos Blast, like, or the blast of it. It's hard saying some of these words because it just sounds fucking stupid. The Chaos Blast blasts through. It sounds dumb to say that. But blast through envelops Mewtwo and fucking disintegrates him. And then if Mewtwo wins, flip it, the Dark Nova, like, breaks through the Chaos Blasts, and, you know, it evaporates Shadow. You can have maybe Shadow try blocking with the wings, but it doesn't do no good, and it completely evaporates him. And, yeah, the death. Now the debate, where, I'll be real, people are saying it's super debatable. I don't really see it as that debatable matchup. And let's talk about stats they've used before. I guess more so the Mewtwo side, or not the Mewtwo, the Shadow side, because I have some things to say about the Mewtwo side. But first, Sonic stats. Use Chaos Emeralds could break the universe from Bowser vs. Eggman. Scaling to Solaris, it could consume all existing timelines. 326 uncalculable and infinite on non-calculable, all from Bowser Eggman. Solaris extended the chaos across multiple timelines at once. 73 Quad C, Bowser vs. Eggman. I talked about all this in Cell vs. Metal prediction. I ripped it straight from that, actually. I'm doing what the research team's doing. Yeah, I can't help it. I'm sorry. But then in Cell Metal, Time Eater destroying a universe in a few seconds. They got this at 183 Quad C. Now, why am I not pulling anything from Ash Yugi for Mewtwo scaling? And that's because I have problems with the scaling in that. It's not really a secret. I don't really buy the Creation Trio scaling for anything but the Creation Trio and Arceus himself. The arguments for it, I just find to be extremely flawed. I'm gonna kind of like just TLDR this, because I don't see a point in just rehashing all this shit. The Creation Trio debates are fucking irritating as hell, and like, I think both sides are kind of firmly where they are. The believers will believe it no matter what. The people that don't believe it are just not going to buy it no matter what, because one views the arguments as flimsy, the others don't. So I don't think, just for like the sake of all of our times, I don't think there's point in me just fucking lingering on this shit. But the issues I have with trying to scale, saying Mewtwo in this scenario, scaling him to the Creation Trio, is that one, lore-wise, it just doesn't really make sense. These guys are like far above everything else in the series. Scaling it just kind of goes against the lore. It's similar to like trying to scale street tier Marvel and DC characters to like the Heralds. It's like saying Batman is physically on par, with Superman, shit like that. Or fucking playing to the meme here, but Daredevil being on par with Silver Surfer, because yeah, get his ass, Daredevil. The arguments for it are very shaky. It doesn't help that like every time someone tries to explain why this scaling is legit, they have the same vibe as they have like a fucking a pin board with like a bunch of pictures, red strings connecting it all, and they're like fucking, who is it, Charlie Green or whoever the fuck from Sunny in Philadelphia. That meme, it just kind of looked like that. I'm sorry, no offense to people that buy it. I respect your time. I don't want to waste it by explaining why I don't buy it. Respect my time and not want to listen to the rabblings on why this scaling is totally legit. But I have it written down, all my arguments, so is it. Never officially, like, interacting with anything that gets the scaling chain or, you know, fighting them. It's always just, well, the player technically can use this, and it's like, it's a very loose argument in my opinion. What else did I put here? Okay, I want to acknowledge the two main arguments to try to directly scale Mewtwo to this, and both of them I do think they're the closest to getting a solid argument for the scaling, but I still kind of find issue with them. The first one being, and this is one I think is a lot weaker of an argument, is in Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl, Mewtwo is a, you know, secret boss in the game after, you know, like, main story shit, so therefore he should be stronger or on par with Separation Trio. But there's also other games where Mewtwo is a secret boss type deal, and those don't really push anything to say, yeah, he should be on par with gods. That being Heart Gold Soul Silver, and I think it was Battle Revolutionary, the Wii game. I can't remember the exact name. I think it's Revolutionary. I love that game. I should be remembering the fucking name, but I can't. But like, these secret bosses in those, but nothing in those are saying like, yeah, he's on par with the Creation Trio and shit like that. So I think, and also that kind of also implies that okay, so in Johto, we don't get to the Kanto region, you know, until after we defeat, you know, like Lugia or Ho-Oh and shit. Therefore, this Rattata I found in Kanto is above this legendary bird. The logic just is kind of flimsy in my opinion. Or, you know, like saying, okay, the gym leaders in, you know, Kanto are above the legendaries in Johto because of the whole same logic. That's kind of why I sort of find this argument to be a little flimsy. And then the other is Rainbow Rocket, that post-game in Ultra Sun and Moon, which still goes kind of hard. Basically, the whole, you know, like, separate timelines, Giovanni assembling everyone like the evil Avengers, and making this big evil organization team. He's above Cyrus in the hierarchy, and Cyrus has, you know, the legendary, which, again, I find arguments with this, similarly to the secret boss thing, where I don't think the reason why Giovanni is above Cyrus is because he's stronger. It's more so just, yeah, he's better, he's the better leader here, and did pull everyone together, so it kind of just makes sense for him to be, you know, the top dog here, not because, like, oh, he's the strongest one. He's just, you know, the one that makes most sense, just story-wise. That's like saying, like, his Persian, or whatever the fuck his team is stronger than Giratina, or Dialga and Palkia. It's a very flimsy argument once you kind of, like, critically think on it, in my opinion. Also doesn't help that there's just a good chance Cyrus used the Red Chain, and that weakened the legendaries. I know someone's gonna try to argue Legends Arceus, but, like, it still clearly weakened them. Like, in the cutscene, they barely are weakened as, like, a way older version, and not, you know, like, what the fuck they're doing in it. It's the modern games. Or, modern games from 2004, fuck. Or not 2004, like, but 2006, right? That's when Diamond and Pearl came out. I'm getting off track. Basically, I find the arguments for this to be kind of flimsy, and also doesn't help. One is a trained Mewtwo, and I assume they're not really going to go for a trained Mewtwo type thing. Is that all I put for the Creation Trio? Yeah, my issues with the scaling. And then, the Gardevoir Black Hole thing. This I also kind of want to acknowledge because I'm kind of shaky on this. They brought it up in Ash Yugi, but I don't know. The black hole doesn't really fully follow the properties of an actual black hole. So I do find it very debatable on if it should be scaled to, again, an actual black hole. So that's kind of my issues with it there. And I might as well talk about this, because I also have this in my extras notes. TMs. I don't think they're going to use TMs from Mewtwo. Unless this has been, like, stated in the official server. I don't really talk in the official server. It's kind of shit there, I'll be real. And that's kind of what started me hating Pokemon in Versus, because of them being very, very toxic about it. Well, I'm not going to put lightly. It's just fucking blatant. But, I don't really think they're going to give TMs to Mewtwo. I think it's just going to be what he can naturally learn via level up, and what he's been shown to use in media. You know, like, using Swift in the Generations, I was going to say movie, but I think it's like a bunch of shorts that someone did compile into a movie. Or, you know, in Pokken, you know, stuff like that. I don't think, like, they're going to give him TMs, because usually with Pokemon, unless it's, like, a trainer or some shit, we don't typically give TMs. And then I also put as a joke, because of the one Mewtwo vs. Hell blog made by someone I'm not going to name, but it's been, not, I was going to say confirmed, I know that's not true, it's not confirmed, but highly speculated to be written using AI. And I wrote down a line from the blog, raw calculable scaling. I'm sorry, I don't want to start the beef, but, like, name me a human being that says raw calculable scaling, and I will name you a liar. Like, it's fucking weird. I wanted to point that out because I think it's really funny. But, yeah, fucking that line. Anyways, what are some other stats for these two? I talked about Shadow. I mentioned, 326 times uni. Well, it was like multiversal to, multiversal on a calculable end to 180 free quad C. Those are the stats we're looking at for Shadow so far. But what are some, other things that I found for Shadow? Chaos Control makes it... Okay, so this is from a show. Like Sonic Prime, I think it's called. Chaos Control made it so Shadow could avoid an explosion that destroyed the universe. 1.46 quintillion C. Above the quad thing. But I also wrote down, comes from Prime, debatable if canon anymore. Because I remember something saying, like, Prime is not canon to the games anymore. So, I don't know if they would use it. But, also, it's going to be irrelevant in just a bit, so don't worry about it. Because of Black Doom enveloped white space. At minimum, this was calc'd to 498 quad C, and then up to 1.46 quintillion C. So, 1 quin C, quintillion times the speed of light. So, multiversal and the speed of quintillion times faster than light. We'll say that. And then Zygarde, 100% form destroyed Megalith, which would have wiped the planet. 180 free petatons of TNT, multi-cont. I'm looking at Mewtwo, by the way, in case someone didn't know that Zygarde's from Pokemon. I'm sure no one like that's watching this video, but I wanted to clarify. And then Necrozma lit up all of Ultra Space, 35.25 Terrafo, multi-solar system. And then Lunala and Solgaleo traveled through Ultra Space, 1 billion C. I'm kind of on the fence if Mewtwo should scale to Necrozma and Solgaleo and Lunala. Just because, again, there's not really much signifying he should be comparable to the two. But I'm using it for the sake of argument. 'Cause, like, yeah, in the original thing, it said we created the strongest Pokemon. I don't think in 1999 or whenever, 1996, they were aware of, you know, actual fucking God and Pokemon that has the power of the sun and the moon. So, little salt on this, but ultimately doesn't matter, because regardless, Shadow should just be way stronger and faster. Again, I don't buy the creation trail shit, but I think even if you want to try bullshit in that, relative AP, but speed, still getting blitzed. Unless you use like a measurable lens, but if you're going to use a measurable lens for one, use it for both, and I don't really believe in the measurable lens for either, so... Yeah. Again, people were saying this is debatable. I do not see how Mewtwo doesn't get stat stomped. Like, I do not see it at all. But there's also abilities, because abilities was a big thing that people were arguing for Mewtwo. It's gonna be sad to read. So, Shadow. He can control time, like with chaos control, stop time, and he could seal away Mewtwo. Mewtwo could arguably teleport out, but meh. Because of a mystery dungeon game, I believe. And then he has a danger sense that could alert him to Mewtwo's whereabouts if he tries to teleport away. Not as much going on shadow-wise, hacks-wise, but, you know, there's a time stop and debatable sealing. And then Mewtwo, he can put Shadow to sleep with hypnosis, and this is the only one that doesn't have an asterisk to it. I got a couple of other things to mention. Excuse me. Mewtwo could manipulate minds. However, Shadow resists mind manipulation and was immune to Black Doom's mind control. Oh, sorry, excuse me, I don't know why. I'm burping a lot, I'm sorry. Mewtwo can switch souls of people and Pokemon, but Shadow has resisted soul corruption from Black Doom, and Mewtwo hasn't shown any other form of soul manipulation. This was from the Detective Pikachu movie, with some, you know, what's-his-face, switching his mind with Mewtwo, and using that, or his soul or mind, or whatever the fuck, to switch the souls of a bunch of people and their Pokemon. Mewtwo could disable Shadow's attacks, though likely wouldn't affect Shadow's weapons nor physically attacking Mewtwo, and Shadow has ignored power nullification before from Black Doom. Power Swap and Guard Swap could theoretically switch their AP if Mewtwo wasn't far slower, and it wouldn't even... And it's debatable on if... I feel like it's debatable on if it would even work on, you know, how strong they actually are. So... And there's also the Trick Room argument, but from what I was seeing, Mewtwo doesn't naturally learn that move. It's only for TM, and go back to what I was talking about was TMs and me not really being sure if they're gonna, you know, use them in the first place. And, yeah, I think that's just about it. So, Mewtwo could arguably put Shadow to sleep, and could arguably do some, you know, swap shit to get, you know, some strength type stuff. But Shadow just completely stat stomps Mewtwo. And this is debatable, apparently. It's really only debatable if you buy Creation Trio, which I mentioned, I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. So, yeah. This stings a lot more, knowing that, like, so many Shadow fans were just bashing on Chief Slayer fans, because, oh, you wanted the Stomp matchup! This is looking like a Stomp, man, I'm sorry. I'm the Pokemon fan, I'm saying Mewtwo's fucked. And, like, Link Cloud. Cloud just stomps Link. The uni arguments for Legend of Zelda are not good. Yeah, we gotta give Chief Slayer this shit. You know, not the other two that are also stomps. Anyways, yeah, my bet's on Shadow. I just don't really see much of a way Mewtwo can really win this. The only way is if you argue Creation Trio scaling, where even then, Mewtwo's getting blitz. And even if you try arguing, oh, but speed, both have immeasurables things. If you try arguing the immeasurable ends, Shadow just resists all of Mewtwo's best win cons. And just it doesn't really have a counter to the time stop. Or that best of a counter to being sealed. So I just don't really see a way Mewtwo wins this. I am rooting for Mewtwo, though. I love Pokemon. I'm glad to see more Pokemon on the show. I would like to be more excited for the Pokemon episodes, because Ash Yugi I was not excited for, because I've been constantly harassed over that matchup, so I was just not really happy to see the harassers get their way. And then just this, I'm not excited for, just because the timing is very poor. I feel like I'm being very negative. I'm sorry. Again, just fucking rough-ass 2 weeks, but... Yeah, I'm looking forward to the episode. I'm sure it'll be a good episode. I'm just not excited, you know? That makes sense. So, I will be rooting Mewtwo, and my bet is on Shadow. And the next time will be our, episode in October, and it's probably gonna be Skeletor Z, something I don't particularly care for, but, like, I'd be kind of excited to see Skeletor get talked about. I do prefer Mumra, just because I'd rather see, Thundercats. I don't have interest in Power Rangers, so, like, Power Rangers hasn't been on since 2020. I can't really bitch about that. But, yeah. I'm sure it's going to be a great episode. I'm just not the most excited for it. Regardless, though, I hope you all did enjoy this video. And, yeah. Base.